Namaste everybody, welcome to YogaCandi. My name is Candace and today I have a flow which is going to be lovely and slow. It's like a yin style. We're going to hold some poses much longer, a little bit like yin yoga, but there's going to be a bit of vinyasa in there too, and I just thought this is the perfect class to do after the festive season where we've probably eaten too much, probably drank too much. So there'll be some twists in there as well just to help with digestion. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. There's no need for any props, but if you're more of a beginner, then I do recommend having a couple of yoga blocks. If you don't have them, definitely order them on Amazon. They're really, really helpful for beginners as well as more advanced yogis because you can use them in all sorts of ways. So today I will give you a couple of different variations in some of the poses just to help whatever level you're at get into the different variations that might be suitable for your body. So let's begin on hands and knees in tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, arch, tuck the chin and the tailbone. Taking 3 more like this, cat-cow. Inhale, look up. Exhale, arch. Inhale up, exhale arch. One more, inhale up, exhale arch. Tuck the chin and the tailbone and really push up through the shoulder blades. Back to a neutral spine, taking thread the needle, inhale, right arm to the sky. Thread it underneath the left, coming down onto your head. And maybe you can wrap this left arm all the way to the inside of your right thigh. If not, just place it on the top of the tailbone or keep it planted on the ground. Our first twist of the day. Breathing into the back body. Tilting the chest and the face towards the sky. Try to keep your hips in line with your knees. So you may need to move your hips slightly to the right. One more deep breath. Inhale, left hand to the sky, planted on the ground and back to a neutral tabletop. Inhale, left arm reaches to the sky. Thread it underneath the right into your twist. Hand planted on the floor, on your tailbone or taking a grip of the inside edge of your left thigh. Moving the hips slightly to the left to keep your hips in line with the knees. Keep breathing deeply. One more big inhale. Releasing that right hand, coming back into your tabletop. Let's walk our fingers forward and plant our forehead onto the ground, keeping elbows lifted in for our puppy pose. If this is not possible, then rest your head onto one of your blocks, just to lift it a little more. Draw your shoulder blades down a little bit. Hug your belly button back. Breathe deep. One more deep inhale. Keeping your hips where they are, walk your fingertips all the way to the left, coming down to the forehead once again, just taking a side body stretch here. Keeping the elbows lifted. And then come on up and walk your hands over to the right, same thing. Stretching the arms out long, elbows lifted, forehead to the ground, and slightly drop that left armpit towards the ground. Coming back up, back to center, hands long, coming into your plank, hands in line with shoulders. Now in your plank pose, you want to tuck your tailbone, you don't want it lifted, you also don't want to drop it, so you want it in one straight line with the head and the heels. Start to find a bit of heat by wobbling forwards and backwards. If this is too much, you can take an easy plank with the knees on the ground and just be still, holding it and hugging your belly button back. So be where you are today. Try to find that strength from within. And then sending the tailbone to the sky, walking your feet hip distance apart into your first downward facing dog of the day. So hug that belly button back. You can keep the legs straight and try to draw your heels to the floor. If that's not possible, don't worry. Perhaps with time your heels will touch the ground. It doesn't happen for everybody, so don't worry. Just try to keep your spine nice and long, tailbone to the sky. Open up through the shoulder blades, so you're trying to get your armpits to almost look at each other. That's just a figure of speech, it's not actually possible. And then try to internally rotate your thighs so your knees are slightly turned inwards. Taking one more breath here in your down dog. Inhale, lift the right leg, look forwards, draw it to your chest to plank and hold just for a moment. Step between the hands into a runner's lunge. Now you can use your blocks either side of your hands to come up off the ground, or you can sink low, planting the fingertips or the palms on the ground. And find a little bounce stretching through the right psoas muscle. And then become still, using the strength of your legs. Lift up, high lunge. Hands reach to the sky, hips face forwards. Finding a twist, bringing your hands to your heart center in prayer. Open up through the elbows, taking your left elbow over towards your right knee. Twisting and looking to the right, holding the legs nice and strong. And then back to high lunge. Open up, warrior two. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat, bending into the front leg. Look beyond the right fingertips. Giving your wrists a little rotation. And then planting that right hand onto the ground, just in front of the foot. Extend the left arm to the sky, look up. And then twist the hips so the hips are facing forwards, back into your runner's lunge. Finding a bounce or going forwards and backwards, stretching out through the calf and the psoas muscle. And then very slowly taking that knee down to the ground. The closer the back knee is to the front heel, the easier the stretch will be. So you may be more like this, and you may need to use a prop. And perhaps that's enough of a stretch for you. Or you can go deeper, just allowing your hips to sink low. Try to keep both your hip bones facing forwards. Just give in to gravity. Straightening the front leg now, and you can use your props either side of your foot. You can stay up tall, or you can start to sink down towards the front leg. Keeping it nice and straight if possible, but bend it if you need to. Coming forward, low lunge. Come up off the back knee, and we're going to take pigeon pose. So we're going to take this right knee behind the right palm. We're going to slowly wiggle the back toes back so that you come down and sit on your sit bones. And the front foot should be behind the front left wrist, or close towards your hips. That will be the easiest if your hips are not very open. So the closer the heel is to this left hip, the easier this hip opener will be. Some of you may have very tight hips and you may need to prop your right sit bone up onto one of your blocks, and that's fine. So just sit up on one of your blocks and you can stay up tall just like this. Feeling through the psoas muscle on the left side and stretching through the hip on the right. So you're hitting two birds with one stone here. This may be as far as you want to go, or you may want to bring your elbows down to the ground. And maybe this is where you want to breathe. Just listen to your body and don't push it any further than it wants to go. If you're more intermediate, you can actually add a twist into your pigeon pose by taking your left arm underneath the right, just like you do with thread the needle, and then take your right hand up and over the body, taking a grip of the right big toe. So any of those variations, sit into the pose, breathe deeply into those hips and psoas muscles. If you're in a twist, breathe deeply into the chest and the belly. We're all going to take some lovely deep breaths here, just being as mindful and in the moment as you possibly can. Just keep with the breath. Allow your thoughts to pass. Take 2 more deep breaths together. If you're twisted like me, slowly make your way to your forearms and then come up onto your hands. Everybody, plant your hands shoulder distance, tuck the back toes, come up onto the front knee and then step that right leg back into a plank, finding a little rock backwards and forwards. Now we're going to take a vinyasa. So if you want to, you can always take the knees to the ground and exhale the elbows close to the body, coming all the way down to the stomach. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, send your tailbone up and back to the sky for your downward facing dog. You may want to take your dog for a little walk by bending and straightening through the legs. And we're going to repeat that sequence on the opposite side. So inhale, lift the left leg, look forwards. Draw that knee towards your chest, forwards to plank. Hold it. And then step that foot between the palms as best you can. Remember, you can always use your props either side of the foot if needed. You can find a little bounce if you would like to. And then using the power of your legs, inhale the hands to the sky for your high lunge. Now we're going to take that high lunge twist, bringing the hands to your heart center in prayer. Open up through the elbows. And we're going to twist, taking this right elbow to the opposite side of the left knee. And look to the left or up to the sky. Hold it, you've got this. And then back to your high lunge. Opening up through the hips into your warrior two. The back foot's now at a 90-degree angle to the back of the mat. Open up through the arms and look beyond these left fingertips. Taking this left hand down to the ground, right onto the sky, look up, keep bent into the front knee. And now plant both your hands on the ground, turning the hips facing forwards, back heel off the ground, back into your runner's lunge. Maybe find a rocking or a bounce again. And then very slowly dropping that back knee down to the ground. Remembering the closer the back knee is to the front heel, the easier the stretch will be for your body. So just sink low, give into gravity. And then start to straighten the front leg, coming into our half split pose, half Hanumanasana, and very slowly rest down towards the leg. You can always stay up on your props if you would like to. You can use them either side of the leg and be up a little higher if that's something you need today. Bending forward back to your low lunge, planting the hands shoulder distance. Come up off of the back knee, back to runner's lunge. Bend into lifting this left leg off the ground, taking the knee behind the left wrist and the foot behind the right wrist. Back into our pigeon pose on the opposite side this time. So sit up tall, and remember, the closer that the heel is towards the hip, the easier this hip opener will be for you. It won't be so intense. Sometimes it's just not possible for people to make that front shin parallel with the top of the mat. I myself have never managed it, and I've done yoga for many years, so just listen to your body today. Try to square the hips off, and the front foot should be pointed but the toes engaged. So point the foot and then make the toes face forwards up towards the long edge of the mat so that you don't lock your knee. You can stay up tall on the fingertips. You can always prop this left sit bone onto one of your blocks if that's going to help you get into the pose. But if you'd like to go further, you can come down to the forearms. And just remember to keep your breath deep. If you're more intermediate, you can always take that twist. This time taking the right arm underneath the left and bringing this left hand round the back to take a grip of those left toes. Taking a little twist into your pigeon. Don't try and attempt this if you're more of a beginner. Just sit where you are and where you're comfortable. Keep your breath deep and stay with the moment. We're going to breathe into this pose now. Taking 2 more big breaths here. If you're in a twist, just plant your left hand on the ground, push yourself up to your elbows. Take a moment. And then push yourself up into your seated pigeon. Now everybody plant your hands nice and firmly, shoulder distance. Tuck the back toes, lift up onto the front knee just a little bit. Lift the back knee off the ground and step back into a plank. Now you can take the knees to the ground and take a more beginner variation of chaturanga, which we did before, or take the more intermediate version from a high plank and taking upward facing dog rather than baby cobra. Meet me in downward facing dog, chaturanga, cobra or up dog, downward facing dog. You're always welcome to take a child's pose here if you would like to, or take 3 deep breaths in your down dog with me. from here, if you're intermediate, make your way to Gomukhasana with the right leg forward. If you're more of a beginner, I'm going to show you a variation. So come down to your knees and extend both your legs out in front of you. Take your right foot over the top of the left leg, so keep your left leg straight, or you can bend it a little if that's needed. And taking a twist from here, everybody. So if you're in your full Gomukhasana, take a twist here over towards the right, taking this left hand to the opposite edge of the right leg. And just take your gaze towards the right. Breathe deep here in this twist. We're going to hold it for a nice 10 breaths or so. So I'm going to make my way to full Gomukhasana and join those that are a little bit more intermediate, sitting between both of the legs and twisting. Sit up tall through the spine. Stay with the breath. Two more deep breaths together. Intermediate yogis, come out of your twist. Beginners, stay where you are. If you're intermediate, just bring your hands to the ground and start to twist into a wide-legged forward fold. If you're more beginner, you've got your left leg extended and your right leg over the top. Come out of your twist, release your right leg, and just take a little seated forward fold, bringing your prop to your knees and just sit forwards, resting your forehead onto your prop. So be in the variation that works for your body. If you're more intermediate, you're in a wide-legged fold standing. You might want to add on gripping the hands behind your back and allowing them to fall up and over if you're more intermediate. Beginners, stay seated, enjoying a nice hamstring stretch with your legs together. Now, intermediate yogis, come on up and just keep twisting over to the right so that the left leg is on top this time in your full Gomukhasana. Beginners, just lift yourselves into a seat and lift your left leg up and over the right. So the opposite leg is on top and bent this time. And everybody, let's take our twist over towards the left. So we're taking our right hand or elbow to the left knee and twisting over to the left. Breathing deep into this pose. Taking one more big breath here with me. And slowly everybody come out of your twist. Everyone release this left leg from the right and bend both of your knees, hug them towards your body. Taking a little boat pose, taking the hands behind the knees, lean backwards, taking the shins in line with the floor. You can stay here if you're a beginner. Keeping your spine nice and long, shoulders back and down. If you're a little more intermediate, maybe take the hands off, maybe straighten the legs. We're all going to hold our boat just for 3 deep breaths. Now plant the feet on the ground, hip distance, hands behind your back. Shoulder distance a few inches away from your bum. Inhale, lift the hips to the sky for a reverse tabletop. Squeeze your bum together. Allow your head to fall back, knees in line with the hips. And slowly tailbone down to the ground, lifting the head last. Just take a comfortable cross-legged position. Any cross-legged position of your choice. We're going to do some neck stretches. So extend the arms out to the side, locking the elbows, making them nice and straight, and bringing the fingertips down to the floor. Draw your shoulder blades back towards each other at the back of your spine. Drop them away from the ears. Dip your head to the left to start with. This will increase that sensation, that stretch through the neck and all the way down the arm. You can always rest this left arm onto the knee for a little while if you would like to. Keeping that right arm extended, head towards the left. If you want to add to the sensation, take the left hand to the top of the head, drawing the head closer towards the left shoulder. Very gentle, don't put any pressure. Just the weight of the hand. Release the head, extend the left arm this time so it's extended elbow locked. Shoulder down and back. Roll your head to the center of your chest. Just look down at the ground or close your eyes. Stay here just for a moment. And then slowly roll towards the right shoulder. You can release that right hand, take it to the knee, let it rest. If you want to go a step further, taking that right hand to the top of the head, gently guiding it a little lower just from the weight of the palm. Then release the hand, taking the right arm back down, extend the fingertips, lock the elbow, draw the shoulder back and down, and just find some neck rolls from shoulder to shoulder, nice and slow. Back to center. Just giving your elbows nice circles, taking them up as big as you would like to, and then start to straighten the arms and take those circles again. Now opposite direction, bending the elbows, taking circles, and then straightening the arms, taking bigger circles. Back to center. Cross your legs again, but just in the opposite position. Sit up nice and tall through the spine. We're just going to take a mindful moment together, taking the tops of the hands to the knees. Roll your shoulders back and down. Close your eyes. We won't be here for long, but just for a few moments of complete silence, listening to the noises around you. Become aware of what noises you're hearing. Are you hearing the raindrops outside? Can you hear faint voices downstairs or in another room? Now draw your senses closer towards you and become aware of any noises in the room around you. Perhaps the sound of a radiator. And draw your senses even closer towards your inner body, becoming aware of the sound of your breath as you naturally breathe in and out. Stay with the moment. And lastly, become aware of the sensations in your hands and in your feet. Perhaps there's a tingling, a warmth, maybe even a cool breeze passing over your feet and the palms of your hands. Move that sensation up towards your shoulders and then feel them drop a little more. Bringing that sensation up towards the jaw, allow it to relax. And then to between the eyebrows, relaxing the forehead. Draw your hands to your heart center, eyes still closed. Rub your palms together, create a warm friction. Take a big inhale. Place those hands over your eyes. Exhale. Draw your hands back to your heart center, bow your head. Namaste, everybody. I thank you so much for joining me and for allowing me to guide you today. I hope you enjoyed this class, and perhaps it will help get that digestion going and give it a boost after all these delicious foods and things we've been eating. I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way as me, that we might have indulged a little more than we normally would. But I really hope you had a lovely time with your families. Let me know in the comments what you got up to for Christmas and New Year. I really hope you weren't in a lockdown and not able to see people, but if you were, I hope you had a lovely time and really felt really in the moment with your family after everything we've been through the last couple of years. Now, I suppose it's just showed us how important family and our time with them is. Yeah, but let me know in the comments how you guys got on as well in this class, and if you would like to add any requests for future classes, of course you're always welcome. So until next time, everyone, have a really lovely day. Namaste.